After fixing Astragoth, it seems that CA decided to break another Chaos Dwarf unit and make them absurdly OP, and that is the Skullcracker. You would think that Grail Knights with anti-large armor piercing, great melee stats, and ward save would be able to deal with the Skullcrackers. But unfortunately, it seems not to be the case here. The Skullcracker right now is just wrecking this unit of Grail Knights, and they are still relatively healthy. If we fast forward, then we can see that the one Grail Knight is routed off, the other is still fighting, but they are now fighting against 2 units of Skullcrackers, which are definitely cracking their skulls. The Skullcracker will be emerging victorious, despite the Grail Knights costing 1,700, while the Skullcrackers only costing 1,250 gold at most. In a one-on-one scenario, the Grail Knight seems to wreck the Skullcrackers just fine, even with lance formation on. But once there are multiple Skullcrackers on the field, things are very different. The reason why Skullcrackers overperform so much is because of their whacked animation. If you look at where my mouse is pointing, a Grail Knight got hit by the steam attack and got staggered. Despite having a full horse size model between them, the Skullcracker still reached the further Grail Knight with its attack. Now of course, a lot of monsters do have a long-reaching frontal attack, but the Skullcracker's attack animation is more than just that. The Skullcracker actually has a 360-degree attack animation. Most monsters can only hit targets in front of them, but the Skullcracker, it hits everything around it, amplifying the damage when being surrounded. Now a single Skullcracker being surrounded by anti-large armor piercing will still die a horrible death. But when there are 2 on the field and they are fighting shoulder to shoulder, suddenly you have some unstoppable trains. When the 2 Skullcrackers are sticking together, the Grail Knight surrounding them cannot form a full surround on a single unit, so that means each Skullcracker is taking half the damage normally it would take when being surrounded. At the same time, they are still dishing out massive armor-piercing damage with their large area of attack. A lot of Grail Knights in the blob can't actually hit the Skullcrackers because they have their comrades in the way, but the Skullcrackers can hit them just fine with the steam attack animation. Also, some of the Grail Knights are taking twice the damage because they are getting hit by 2 Skullcrackers at the same time. So the Grail Knights are losing their unit models much quicker, as well as being staggered more often. Now in this fight, the Grail Knights are performing better because the Skullcrackers are controlled by the AI and the Grail Knights have their lance formation turned off. But still, you can see that the Grail Knights are not having a good time trading against the Skullcrackers, as the Skullcracker splash attacks all benefit from its insane stats: 55 attack and 30 melee defense baseline, plus 400 weapon strength, mostly armor piercing. Yes, the Skullcracker stats are absolutely cracked. If we compare it with the Empire's secret weapon, the Steam Tank, we can see that the Skullcrackers have way more attack, 90 more attack, 20 more defense, and also double the weapon strength, with most of it being armor piercing. At 280 armor piercing, 120 base weapon damage baseline, while the Steam Tank only has 200 weapon strength, and basically doing half the damage as the Skullcracker. Of course, the Steam Tank do have steam guns mounted for close range attack and a long range cannon, but their damage output is nowhere near as effective as the steam attack of the Skullcrackers with that 400 weapon strength. On top of that, there is the Hellbound ability providing 20% physical resistance and magic attacks to the Skullcracker. And all that comes at a measly cost of 1,250 gold, way cheaper than the 2,100 gold Steam Tank. As if Skullcrackers aren't already OP enough, they actually have access to healing. Demon Smith sorcerers have this ability called Reforge, which can heal demon machines for 0.8% HP per second for 19 seconds. This is roughly 15% or 1,000 points of the Skullcrackers' HP, significantly boosting up the survivability of Skullcrackers, as you can now top up their HP once they took a little too much damage. Unfortunately, we're not done with the Skullcrackers just yet. It seems that the unit has some minor hitbox issues, so attacks from behind sometimes just don't connect at all. So here we have an Empire Captain with around 100 weapon strength that is armor piercing. Theoretically, it should take away 100 HP from the Skullcracker every time it strikes, as units attacking from behind has a 100% hit chance. If we pause the game, we can see that the Skullcracker has around 4,200 HP, and the Empire Captain is about to strike. Now we unpause the game as the Empire Captain attacks. Now we pause the game again and we can see that the Skullcrackers still have 4,200 HP. The only damage was from the chip damage from the Sigma Sun surrounding the Skullcracker. So if we unpause the video again, the Empire Captain will try to strike the Skullcracker from behind another time, and another whiff. Not quite sure the reason behind this, but I suspect that the backside of the Skullcracker model is problematic. This is not anything game breaking, but this does help the Skullcrackers to mitigate some part of the incoming damage. While I do appreciate that CA overhauled the stat lines of the Skullcrackers, making them more distinct from the Iron Demons, it seems that here we have another case of overbuffing a unit. Skullcrackers, with their ridiculous melee stats and far-reaching splash attacks, they can trade really well into any infantry, cavalry, or monstrous unit that has multiple models. That is, even if those units have anti-large and armor piercing. Right now, the best way to deal with them is probably fight them with armor-piercing single entities, or just shoot the hell out of them with artillery and missiles. I do think that a nerf to the unit, for example reducing its splash attack area, increasing its price, or lowering its melee stats would be necessary in the future.